Welcome, welcome, welcome. If we could take a seat, we will get started. If we could take a seat, please, we will get started. Thank you, Jay Snyder. Thank you, James. Where's Victor? Sit down, Victor. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Mitch with the Nampa Chamber of Commerce. I just want to start off by saying thank you for being here. It's been an awesome, busy, crazy summer for all. This is going to be a fun one and a fast one, so we'll keep you moving. I know some people are going to be grabbing some food and so forth, but I just want to thank our staff team and our board of directors and then partnering with the city of Nampa. It's been an awesome adventure to get to this, and board chair Gene will come up in just a moment and get us kicked off. I just wanted to say, though, a lot of moving parts here today. You all right in this room are here to sit and participate in the State of the City. We have people also online that are watching this live stream, and then we also have some people that are just here not partaking in the lunch, but here to listen to the mayor's State of the City, which is way cool and exciting. Couple quick things from me, and then you won't have to hear from me again, and we get to hear from the mayor while we're all here. I wanted to start by thanking our strategic partners. We couldn't do what we do without their support. So if you know anybody that works at these companies, please thank them. I'm going to read their names off. And if you know anybody that works at those companies, please thank them on behalf of the Nampa Chamber. Amalgamated Sugar, Amazon, Autovol, ICCU, St. Luke's, St. Al's, and Wells Fargo. Please give them a round of applause. New this year, that dessert in front of you, I know some of you, Senator Eggenbrod, I think you started with your dessert. Some of you, the dessert is out there. You saw the sign in front of the pumpkin. I just wanted to brag on our friends from ServPro. New this year, they will be sponsoring the dessert each time. And don't worry, the calories do not count when you're networking at a business luncheon. So thank you to our friends at ServPro. With that, again, we will keep things moving fast. This was a sold-out event with people on waiting lists, so cool event for Nampa. It's my honor and pleasure to introduce not only my friend, but she's the current board chair for the Nampa Chamber of Commerce. Please help me welcome Jean Munchie.
Good morning, almost afternoon. It's so good to see so many people here. I'm thrilled that we get to have the State of the City back at the Chamber Luncheon. It was not with us for a couple years, and I think it's a perfect venue because truly the Chamber is the heartbeat of the community, and the city is the engine that makes it run. So thank you for being here, and it is my pleasure to introduce Councilman Randy Haverfield. I don't know where he is. There he is. Okay. He's my friend, too. We'll debate roundabouts and signals later, but just kidding. I had the good fortune to serve with Councilman Haverfield on City Council for a couple of years, and a wealth of knowledge. Expert in his field, has dedicated immeasurable amount of time to this city, where we're going, where we've been, where we're headed, and it is my pleasure to introduce him to open us in prayer and the pledge. Councilman Haverfield.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Randy Haverfield. I serve on the Nampa City Council as president, and it's an honor to be in front of you this morning. I really appreciate that. But at this time, if I could get you to all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for the prayer afterwards. The combined joint honor guard for the Nampa Police and Fire Departments will present the colors. Thank you. If you'll join me in the pledge to allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And if you would bow your heads, we'll have a prayer, and I can assure you that the prayer is even good for those that have already started eating. Our Father in heaven, we pray that you will bless the meal that we are about to share today and bless those who have prepared it. We bow our heads this afternoon and thank you for your grace and goodness. We praise you, God, and ask that you would look with favor on our community, protect our citizens and leaders, and continue to enrich our land so that we may share the abundance of products grown and produced here in Canyon County. May your wisdom produce in us creative ideas and solutions to the problems we may face in the future. Please provide greater knowledge, understanding, and discernment in order to protect what is good and excellent in our community. Give the mayor, city council, and all city employees the wisdom needed to solve difficult problems, maintain order, stability, and to protect the prosperity we enjoy in our community. Please also protect our fire, police, and emergency service providers as they in return seek to protect and serve our community. Father, give us a spirit of unity as we follow you, so that with one heart and mind we may work together for the good of our community and glorify your name. Let all barriers, walls, strongholds, and divisions that may keep us separated from you and from one another come down in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. Next, we'll hear from two members of the Nampa Mayor's Teen Council. Lincoln and Amelia, if you can come to the stage.
Good afternoon. My name is Lincoln Barrowman. I'm a senior at Skyview High School. As Vice Chair of the Nampa Mayor's Teen Council, please allow me to welcome you to Nampa's 2022 State of the City Address. Thank you also to those who are joining us online.
And my name is Amelia Alvarez. I'm a senior at Ridgeview High School and the Mayor's Teen Council Secretary. Thank you again to the Nampa Police and Fire Departments for presenting the colors and to Councilman Haverfield for his prayer.
We would also like to thank the many generous sponsors who supported Nampa's State of the City this year. A portion of their donation benefits the Mayor's Teen Council. Our title sponsor this year is Republic Services. Republic Services has been keeping Nampa clean through trash removal for 40 years.
We would also like to thank our presenting sponsors, Bank of Idaho, Cap Ed Credit Union, Seltzer Health, St. Alphonsus, Select Health, St. Luke's, and TDS Fiber.
Thank you to our supporting sponsors, Brown and Caldwell, Clarity Credit Union, HDR, and Idaho Power. A special thanks to the Nampa Chamber of Commerce, Georgia Whiting, and Mason Creek Farms for providing the pumpkin pie centerpieces.
Finally, we would like to thank International Minute Press for the wonderful programs before you, Ellsberg Studios, who is live streaming this event, and Nampa Civic Center for their excellent service and attention. It is now our pleasure to introduce Nampa Mayor Debbie Kling. Please hold your applause till after the short video from the Nampa Chamber of Commerce, which was created to celebrate our amazing community and its many attractions.
Oh, that a great video? I love it. I love it. Thank you all for being here today. And welcome to the State of the City. It is great to be back with the Nampa Chamber. This is the first year since I've been mayor that we have done the State of the City with the Nampa Chamber. And I tell you what, I have to say it brings back memories. It was 10 years ago this fall, my first time to stand here at the podium as the interim president of the chamber. And now 10 years later, here we are back again. So I remember, some of you may remember that. And I remember Matt Davison saying, boy, that was risky because I was interim at the time. But anyway, so now here we are. As we get started, I just want to acknowledge my family. My husband is here today, and I so appreciate his support and encouragement in my path in life. And my other family members, thank you all for being here today. I also want to acknowledge all of those that have come today. One, our sponsors. You know, our sponsors were acknowledged, but not only the sponsors for the State of the City, but the business community that stands behind all of us. I mean, the Nampa Chamber on a regular basis. So thank you, thank you. And then to those that are sitting in the open seating today, thank you for taking this opportunity to be here. I so appreciate it. I've gotten to visit with some of you, and I wish I had time to talk to all of you because I see so many familiar faces that I miss getting to connect with. So thank you for being here today. So one of my goals as mayor was to maintain strong relationships and collaboration between the city and the Nampa Chamber and our schools and our nonprofits and service clubs and the numerous organizations that make a difference in our community. And I hope that we're achieving that. I'm thankful for the work of the amazing people in this community. And I want to say thank you also to Mitch Minetti and the Nampa Chamber leadership. You know what? We are blessed to have the leadership we have in this community in the Nampa Chamber. Let's give Mitch and team a round of applause because they're awesome. So one of the greatest challenges with the State of the City is trying to condense a year of incredible behind-the-scenes work into 60 minutes, which we will do. And you know what? For me, my style would really be a fireside chat that I could talk to you and off script. But so that I don't forget something and miss it, I am on script. And it'll also help keep us on time. So here we go. So as we talk about the state of the city, I would like to start by saying, you know what? The state of our city is good. And you know why it's good? It's good because of you. It's good because of the people. I will never forget when I asked Kevin Daniels, what makes for a successful downtown? We were hosting some Main Street people in our downtown. I said, what makes for a successful downtown? And then for those that don't succeed, what is the difference? And you know what the answer was? The people. It's just the people. And so the state of our city is great because we have amazing people in this community, and you guys work diligently to make it so. So I just want to say thank you to you for being a part of this community and all that you do. We also have amazing city employees. And if you would keep this city running every day, 24/7, 365, we've got people that are focused on keeping the city moving forward. So please permit me to take a few minutes to highlight some of the work of our departments that are serving this community. And then you may hear me say this more than once today. I've already said it probably twice, and I'm going to say it many more times, and that is thank you. Those two words, thank you. And it seems so trivial sometimes. But thank you to our employees. They work hard. And I want our employees to know that their work matters to our community and that I greatly value all that you do as our employees. We have a number of our employees today. Employees, would you raise your hands? I'd just like to acknowledge we have a lot of employees here today. They do work diligently to help us achieve that safe and healthy community where people prosper, which is our goal. But I have some other people to thank, and we're going to start with Nampa City Council. I think that's correct. You know what? We have a great city council. And I just so appreciate each and every one of them, and I'm not going to go through individual names today for any of these slides that I show, but as a whole, our city council, they work diligently, they listen. And one thing I love about our city council is that when we don't agree, we still respect one another. I think they're setting a wonderful example for our community because that's what we need to do. Whether we agree or disagree, we should be respecting one another. And I just want to say thank you to our city council. And I'm not sure where you guys are. I think you're in different places. I see Randy and Victor and Darrell is back there. So I'm not sure where everybody is, but I just want to say thank you. It is a pleasure. Natalie, hi, you're over there. And Dale and Jacob. There we go. Did I get everybody? There you are. Okay, thank you. It is a joy and my privilege to work with you, so thank you for all you do. Then we have our directors that serve the city, and I've broken these up into different departments. So we have internal services, and that is finance, HR, and IT that actually serve and keep our departments running. We have an amazing team here. And then our development services team. The development services team is working with the building department and planning and zoning and economic development led by our senior director of development services. And then our public works team, you know what, they're the ones that keep this city running, whether it be under, the streets and water and our strategic initiatives and engineering. I just so appreciate the entire team led by our senior director of public works. And then we have a number of other directors, our library and police chief and parks department and Fort Idaho Center and the Nampa Family Justice Center and our clerk. This is the team that leads every employee in the city of Nampa. And these are the people that I work directly with as we set vision, talk about where we're going as a community. And I will say we are truly blessed to have this group of leaders leading our city because they are excellent. And then not to be mayor, it really is the office of the mayor that gets the work done. And I am so incredibly thankful for my team because I have a great team and they work really hard. And so thank you to each one of the positions, my chief of staff, director of communications, executive assistant, and our citizen support specialist. I thank them for their work. There's a lot of other work, though, that gets done, and it gets done through boards and commissions. And, as we talk about the city, it's not just the city. It's the volunteers that step up and serve in all of these different commissions. How many people here are actually serving on a commission? In some capacity. There's a few. Thank you for what you do, because that's what keeps our city going. It's not just the employees and the staff, but we've got a lot of commissions and a lot of people working diligently, and I so appreciate them. So I do want to mention that there is a QR code on the back of the program. We have some openings in our boards and commissions, and so if you're interested, please feel free to go to the QR codes, and I'll mention them again, but there's a bunch of them on the back of your program. So as we get started, I think the first thing I want to say is that we're listening. You know what, when I ran for office, one of the things I said was that your voice matters. And it truly does matter, and we are listening to what you have to say. And one way that we listen is through our community survey. So we do a community survey every year. The first one we began in 2018. And we have different departments across the city that actually do other surveys like the library and public works and parks. But this general survey is really important to help guide us in what our priorities are. And how many of you have taken our survey? I hope I see more hands this time. Okay, so I just want to tell you that when this survey comes out again in the spring, please take it because it's important to us. It's how we know what's important to you. So I encourage you guys to take it. So it will be the 6th time when we launch it in the spring. And so we frequently refer to our community identified focused areas. And that's what the council actually uses when we're discussing budget. It is, and anyway, it's important. The community has consistently said 3 things. They've said that infrastructure, safety, and economic opportunity are important. The previous ones had safety first, but just by a fraction. This last one shifted infrastructure to the top. It's very, very close. But this is what you're saying is important to you. So today, as I speak to you, we're going to be talking about these focus areas and kind of what we're doing in these focus areas. So, a couple of comments too. Besides infrastructure, citizens are talking about streets and traffic. But let's get started. So, streets, Midland and Lake Lowell. So that intersection was needlessly a source of contention in the community, and it's done. We have a traffic light. It moved from a roundabout to a traffic light to, anyway, and it came back to a signal, and it is completed and done. Another intersection that was a little bit of a pain point was, and that's an understatement, but was Midland and Orchard. So Midland and Orchard, that was done by Highway District 1, not by the city, but we collaborate with them, but that one also got completed. Then under construction today, we have the Kings and Victory roundabout, we have the Franklin and Birch roundabout, we have the Idaho Center Boulevard and Cherry roundabout. Needless to say, many of our regular driving habits have been interrupted at some point by road construction. I'm sure you can all attest to that. I know a number of people say, is Kings Road done yet? Nope, but it will be, but it's under construction. Thank you for your patience and respect for the workers, because they're moving us forward with the needed improvements. The other one that's coming is the Karcher exit southbound. So I have a question. How many of you remember when we didn't even have a Karcher exit? Quite a few of you. That's amazing. I was listening to someone the other day and they were talking about when we didn't even have it. And it's almost hard to remember, but we have changed a lot over time. And so beginning in 2023, ITD is going to be doing additional work on the Karcher exit southbound. And I will say that in the past few months, we've addressed the timing at the signals between the St. Luke's Costco area going out to Karcher, and we've actually been able to reduce the drive time by 5 minutes by the adjusting of those signals, which is great. Another game changer for the entire Treasure Valley is State Highway 16. So I know that you guys are probably watching this. This is an ITD development. And because it is a game changer, we are actually completing a specific plan for the Nampa impact area near Highway 16. While the city of Nampa, we do not own the ground, but we think it's important that we have continuity in development. The area-specific plan with community input is going to help guide the look and the feel and the function of this new important corridor. The information on the plan and many of the projects we're touching on, you can visit our website and see it, but this is a game changer for the entire Treasure Valley. But one thing that I've appreciated was that when the new Highway 16 plan was under development, we reached out to ITD to ask them about the southbound exit, and it wasn't designed in the plan, but ITD listened. And I want to say I appreciate our relationship with ITD. They do a great job, and they do listen, and we need to collaborate together, and I so value that. So anyway, we're in the process of all the work that goes in to the design for this southbound exit. And again, you can visit our website and probably find some information on this, but how this ties in, it'll tie into Robinson Road. And again, this will be major for traffic as we continue to see our community develop and move. With Highway 16 construction already underway and its impact, another area that we need to consider is our North Nampa impact area. And so you'll see that area on the screens. We're currently looking at the infrastructure needs and again, a potential area-specific plan, zoning plan for this particular area, which is really exciting, I have to say. Then another one that we've been talking about for years, I tell you what, I don't know if you can tell, but there is a lot of work going on in the city. We have a very busy team and there is a lot happening. So the next project, and it's the Highway 45 realignment, what I call our downtown roundabout. It's been a challenge. How many would say they agree that our downtown traffic pattern has been challenging? Does anybody agree with me? A few? Mm-hmm. Well, it's been a number of years, and we have heard from you, and I'm excited to say that we're just in the process of completing this extensive planning project for the corridor. Following several open houses and with the input from local citizens, we've narrowed it down to the 4 options that you see on the screens, and we plan to have an open house in the recent weeks. Sometime probably in the next 8 weeks, we'll be having an open house for final input into this particular plan. And again, this is a major change in our city, but I'm excited about it. The other thing that's really cool is that we're going to see a change in front of the post office. So when you're going from north to south, coming into Nampa under 11th Avenue, under the bridge there, right in front of the post office, currently it's a turn-only lane to the right. We're going to remove the barriers there and allow people to go straight. So I don't know how many people do this, where you get over there and you have to do this thing, right, to go straight. So that's going to be corrected, and that's happening right away. So I'm really excited about that one too. So anyway, let's talk real quickly about our Nampa Streets team. I tell you what, we have such a great group of guys that are caring for our streets every day. And I'll tell you what, it is hard work. Chip sealing, and I'm off script, excuse me, but I've got to tell you. So chip sealing, when it is 100 degrees outside, it's 150 on that machine. They are, I appreciate the pride they take in our streets. And one of the things that we talk a lot about is being innovative. And they have actually done that when they started their own brine, made their own brine thing and are producing their own brine. This last year we did 38,000 gallons of salt brine, and it saved us $35,000, which is stewardship. Stewardship is important to the city. And when we talk about stewardship, we talk to every department about stewardship, because stewardship comes in a lot of different ways. But like the oil machine that drops the oil on the pavement, to clean that thing takes a long time, but our guys clean it so well, and we're able to maintain the life of our equipment for a very long period of time. And so it's the individual actions of employees that make such a big difference. So the other thing that we do, as you guys know, we chip seal. I know everybody loves it when the chip seal's going on, right? Yeah. But this year we did over 30 miles of pavement. It used to be that we didn't get into the subdivisions, and now we do. And that prolongs the pavement. And again, it's important to prolong the life of the pavement. So anyway, as I've mentioned, stewardship and innovation are core values for the city, and our streets team is a good example of that. Another area is timing improvements with our lights. And so traffic congestion, you know what, we hear it all the time. People are frustrated with the traffic and the congestion, but one way that we can make a difference is through the signal timing, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago. So our transportation engineer manager is working diligently to improve the traffic flow around the city. But one way that we're doing that, and a key part of that, is an intelligent transportation system. So for those lights that are not on the system, that we have to manually adjust each light at each intersection. And so needless to say, that's time consuming. This new intelligent transportation system is going to allow us to adjust the signal timing remotely when there's traffic congestion. And it was partially funded by Amazon with their contribution to the traffic mitigation out at the I-84 Garrity Corridor and Franklin as they came in. And because I don't know how many of you use that, but sometimes it definitely gets congested. But this new intelligent transportation system is going to be a huge asset to that. It also, by the way, is an asset to our Nampa Police Department, because it's already helped them locate suspects in crimes, in a number of crimes. And so it has been very beneficial to the city of Nampa, to say the least. And I have to turn my page. There we go. Grants. Okay. So grants are critical to the city of Nampa. And as you can see from the slide here, we continue to pursue grants to fund infrastructure needs. Since 2020, we've increased the use of grants from $2 million to over $17 million in FY23. We have another $13 million in the application process that we're waiting to hear on. And then we have another $12 million that we're applying for by the end of the year. Nampa is not necessarily a wealthy city, but the grants that we use, and I so appreciate our team that's constantly going after grants to help us achieve what we need to achieve. So we were recently awarded a $5 million raise grant for North Nampa this is pretty exciting. This is going to, I don't know if you can see the bridge, the design, and it's just a sample, but this is going to provide connectivity for cyclists and pedestrians at 14th Avenue. So in the downtown, and it's going to provide a safe crossing between North Nampa and the downtown Nampa business area. The construction is a different grant, so we're going to have to find the funding and the grants to fund the construction. But again, this is a game changer for Nampa and the revitalization for North Nampa. Another way that we deal with grants is through the Community Block Development Grant System, Cdbg. It's an annual grant, and it is critical for funding capital and services in our community. This last year, we were able to replace the City Acres and the East Side Parks playgrounds with Cdbg funding, along with supporting the infrastructure at the new Canyon Terrace Affordable Housing Complex off of Garrity. So those funds are extremely important to us. And I would be remiss not to mention the work taking place on our wastewater treatment plant. You know what? It is amazing to go out there. I don't know that we do community tours, but I did recently get to go out there and take a look. And I tell you, it's massive what is happening. This over $200 million project has been overseen by a design review committee to ensure that we were good stewards as we walked through the design and contracting of this project. I greatly appreciate the commitment of this team. Again, this is about stewardship, right? We need to move things forward, but how we move them forward and making sure that we're making the best use of the dollars we have is so important to this city. And so it does take a team of volunteers that makes a difference when they met at 7 a.m., a number of mornings, and I think donuts were part of that, but I really appreciated the work that they did in the oversight and the work of our staff that has worked diligently on this, including and our full wastewater team. I'm pleased to say that construction is on time and within budget, and that's massive considering the world that we're in today. As you guys know, supply chains are very challenging. Costs have risen considerably, but we got in and worked diligently to be just ahead of that and to secure certain elements of it. So again, that was done because of the hard work of a number of people. Another thing that I'm actually proud of is this spring, with the potential of the irrigation water shortage, we formed a drought task force. And the task force included representation from the irrigation districts, other municipalities, agencies, and the school districts. Thankfully, we didn't experience the drought that we did because we had a cool, wet spring. But that said, we still need to be, which the tagline is, to be 2C water wise. So we're going to continue to meet with the focus of the impact of growth on our aquifer and on our surface water, which is so important. And I greatly appreciate the presence of all those people that participated in that. So, you know, we sat in so many meetings and listen to people say we're concerned about water. You know what, we have a really good aquifer here, but we do need to be concerned about water as we grow. And so we've taken the lead in the Treasure Valley in this drought task force and have invited others to join us. And it's critical that we stay ahead of this discussion and push the discussion as we look to the future with our growth and our water supplies. So another amazing thing that has happened is that I don't know how many people are aware that the North Nampa area had a FEMA floodplain designation that took place a number of years ago. The homeowners there have to pay for expensive flood insurance and potentially make significant improvements to their homes in order to comply with the FEMA regulations. You know what that does to that area? It creates perpetual blight, which is not a good thing. So the exciting news is our Public Works team, led by Tom Points, has made a significant progress in revising the Indian Creek potential designated floodplain. We've got almost 2 years of work in it and 2 years ahead. It takes a long time to get these things done, but hopefully once it's completed, we actually will be able to change the designation, and it'll make a big difference in that redevelopment in our North Nampa area. So I'm excited about that too. So another, I hope you guys are awake. I hate going through just thing after thing after thing, but I think that's what you're kind of supposed to do at a state of the city. So I'm going to tell you the state of the city, and then we'll get to the fun part a little later. So, you know what? Nampa has the best little airport around, and it continues to get better. And so I am so thankful for our Warhawk Air Museum. We have so many visitors that come to our airport for the museum, besides the Tower Grill, which we love. But we have a newly opened Spirit of Flight Museum. And Airport Commissioner Mark Miller was awarded the Spirit of Flight Person of the Year for his support and assistance with their move from Colorado to Nampa. That reminds me of MAF when they moved from California to Nampa. And then the Warhawk Air Museum that moved to the Nampa Airport. And so I think it's pretty exciting that the Spirit of Flight has joined us there. So when the museum founder was visiting airports to find a new location, he met Mark early on in the process, and Mark championed Nampa for the move. And Mark is one of the reasons that the Spirit of Flight Museum chose Nampa. And then we've recently completed our airport master plan, and we're just completing a business plan. And as I said, we do have an amazing airport, and we want to ensure its long-term sustainability. So we've pursued one grant, we didn't get it. We're pursuing and submitting another grant for a new terminal at our airport. And so I'm so hoping we get it, because we are at a place that we definitely need a new terminal, but we've got an amazing little airport in Nampa. I like to say it's the best little airport around. So anyway, you know, there's so much work being done by our Public Works Department, and there is that QR code on the back of your program. There's a magazine that we produce annually, and please take a minute if you have any questions. It's got a lot of data in it, and it'll give you just information on current projects. Something else that I'm really proud of, I have to say, is this past June, the city of Nampa was awarded the first award of excellence from ICRIMP. It's the Idaho County's risk management program, but they insure cities also, and so most cities and counties across the state of Idaho are insured through them. We were, well, I will say, when I came into office, we were a little upside down with ICRIMP, and we have worked diligently, and thank you to our city employees, too, for Nampa being the first city in the state of Idaho to be recognized for our excellence by ICRIMP. So I am proud of that, because that was hard work. You know, we're also recognized for the 6th year in a row by Wallet Hub as the best run city in America. Fiscal stewardship, along with low spending per capita and a complex data set, has placed us at the top in the country for 6 years in a row. I applaud City Council for their fiscal stewardship and how mindful and intentional you are in our spending. I will say it's wonderful for 6 years in a row to be noted as the best run city in America, but boy, does that make me nervous. I have to say, because the data is very complex. It could be our wastewater loan that takes us out, and then when you're not the best run anymore after 6 years, people are going to say, what did you do wrong? So it makes me nervous every year when it comes out, but I'm thankful that we have been recognized and we're doing our best to be the best run city. So the next area of focus that the citizens have talked about is safety. And typically when we think of safety, we're thinking about public safety, which we will discuss. But I want you all to know that we think about safety every single day, whether it's traffic safety, safe routes to school, which is a high priority for me, for our kids, workplace safety. Safety is an area that we focus on. But as it relates to public safety, we're going to start with fire. So I am extremely proud of our Nampa Fire Department, which is actually now the Nampa Fire District. As you may be aware, after much consideration, we made a significant change, moving the Nampa Fire Department to the Nampa Fire District officially January 1 of 22 this year. It allows the district to fund many needed improvements that they hadn't been able to fund. And so the first of which is a new fire station, which is Fire Station 6. We needed this fire station for 10 years. And so it is currently under construction with an estimated completion this next year. I'm also excited to share that the fire district applied for and received a FEMA Safer $5.2 million grant to fund 15 new fighters for the station, which is so exciting. This year we also completed a remodel of Fire Station 1. That was our very first fire station. I don't think it had been remodeled for a long time. So that has been completed, and I know that the people that use that station greatly appreciate that. We have amazing fire leadership and men and women serving this community. And we also don't want to forget our Canyon County paramedics that serve alongside. I'm also extremely thankful for our police department and that our community backs the blue. Isn't it wonderful that we have a community that does that? When we think of police, it's the uniforms that are sitting right here all together. It's dispatch, it's records, it's evidence, it's the senior leadership administrative team, and I probably have forgotten a department, but it's the entire group that makes it happen. But I so appreciate the leadership that we have in our police department. And I will say, if you're not following police on social media, you should, because they have some great Facebook posts, so you should be following them on social media. So over the past 4 years, Part 1 crimes have gone down by about 37%, even though our population has increased by thousands. Each week, which is good, yeah. Each week, our analytics department provides insight that guides the areas and where they focus through their CompStat policing model. That said, if you see the graph, we've had a recent uptick in violent crime, which is related to drugs and gangs. I just want to say, just know that Nampa PD is taking a strong, intentional, and coordinated stand against that crime. There's also, I don't know how many people noticed this, but there's been some drag racing taken on late at night. And you know what? Again, Nampa PD's on it through the creation of the special enforcement team called SET. They are on top of it. And as I think our police know, I fully support their work. They do a good job. I don't need to micromanage them. They know what they're doing. They do a great job. And thank you for being on top of these crimes. Jamie, you got right on it, on that drag racing. And it's like, thank you. It's wonderful. So anyway, you know what? We do have openings in the Nampa Police Department, but you know what? We are funded. I think there's a concern that we're not funding police, and we're funding police to the best that we can, but we're also using the resources the best we can, and they're doing a really good job with that. And I want to say I appreciate the unwavering high standards for hiring that have been established by Chief Joe Huff. Thank you. And not to be forgotten, I want to say our police volunteers, they are such a huge asset to our community. They serve selflessly to make a difference as volunteers. And I just want to pause again and say thank you. Those serving and protecting our community day and night at Nampa Police Department and the Nampa Fire represent some of the best within our community, and I think the state of Idaho. And I stand today to applaud all of them. So thank you to you all. You know, wow, a hidden gem in our community that maybe we all don't know about is the Nampa Family Justice Center. They have been providing safety, self-sufficiency, and hope and healing to those affected by abuse for the past 17 years. Since opening their doors, it is estimated that they've received over 75,000 clients. And unfortunately, each year it increases. The Nampa family, again, we have amazing leadership. Jeannie Strohmeyer and her team, they provide consolidated services under one roof, which is so important to assisting victims of domestic violence. And this happens to be Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So our final area of focus is economic opportunity. So let's go there. Well-paying jobs and quality of life are critical to every individual and family in Nampa. I want to start by saying thank you to the Nampa Downtown Business Improvement District, the board, the BID, and to the Main Street Board for their work. We have a committed group of volunteers, and our new downtown coordinator, Honey Goodman, Marie Baker, sitting right here, who chairs Main Street. I just want to say thank you, and to our economic development team that supports them. It's a lot of work, but this team is taking a lead in revitalizing our downtown. The Third Thursday event, as you can see, it is a great event. It turns our downtown into the living room of the community, and I tell you what, they are doing such a great job. I'm also excited for the installation of a new downtown sound system that will be debuted at our annual Christmas tree ceremony on Saturday, November 26th. And Amy wanted me to say the tree has new lights, so that's good. But, you know, I have a goal that we have new Christmas lighting lining every building in our downtown. Unfortunately, it is a massive project, and it needs funding. And so we will be doing fundraising for it, because I think I have a vision for our downtown, and which is going to be different than other downtowns, and I'm excited to go there. So please feel free to reach out to the Main Street Board, because we'll be working directly with them on that also. And you know what, as I mentioned, the lights and the sound system, sometimes it's the small things that matter. I met with a group of downtown business owners recently, and you know what we said? We need some little wins, and that's what we're working on, are some little wins for our downtown. So one of those wins that's a bigger one is that we're still working on our vacant building code. You know what? It's specifically for those downtown. And you know what? We're not going to quit. We're going to keep going there, because we don't own the buildings. It's difficult when you don't own the buildings. And so we're working on that element. Also, this past year, Kevin Daniels came in town with Main Street Chair Ed Mcmahon. And Kevin Daniels graduated from Nampa High. And I tell you what, sometime we need to do a whole story on our Nampa High graduates, because we have some amazing Nampa High graduates that have done incredible things. There you go. Yeah. And this was before we had the other schools. So that's why I'm not calling out the other ones. I'm talking, they've been around for a little longer, let's say that. So anyway, Kevin brought in Ed Mcmahon, and Ed Mcmahon is an incredible urban land use planner. And we hosted a training session for cities across Idaho. We live streamed it, and so that everyone in Idaho had access to the same work that we were getting as we all work to revitalize our downtowns. So another key element of our community is the Nampa Development Corporation and the board of volunteers that sit and serve us through NDC. And they've played a key role in supporting the redevelopment of the former Karcher Mall, now District 208. How many of you were here with the original Karcher Mall when is anybody here kind of the original? I see some hands going up. Yeah. You know, it isn't life interesting how it just progresses? Well, so District 208 is coming along, and thank you to NDC for working with them as they really want to bring a whole new face to that area with multifamily residential units and new retail locations. So it is coming along. Needless to say, we had a pandemic that kind of interrupted the flow a little bit, but it's moving forward. The other thing they're instrumental in is funding infrastructure in our North Nampa industrial area, which has very important access to rail. Rail access is critical. So this area was planned in our Nampa Comp Plan, and following the annexation and the rezone, NDC invested $13 million in infrastructure for that area. The Stowe Company is actually a great example of the positive impact of NDC. Stowe Company is going to bring 230 manufacturing jobs, and then two of their suppliers are actually coming in right next to them with a 550,000 square foot building in the Adler Midland Industrial Park, which is near Ustick and Midland. That park is set to include 19 industrial buildings, and the Stowe project will be the largest tenant. And the Stowe facility alone will be about $143 million. We have recently seen a huge increase in industrial development. We have set new design standards for these buildings due to the approximate 5 million square feet of new industrial development being constructed or planned this coming year. For me, every decision that we make, it's thinking about what are we going to look like in 20 years. That's why we have these new design standards coming in. It's stretching some developers, but I think it's important that we're designing for our future, because what they look like in the future is critical to who we're going to be in 20 years. So, and then needless to say, the cost of building, the labor force has played a significant role in development with current inflation. Actually, these types of jobs that are coming in are anticipated to be more recession-proof than some other jobs. So it's good. But the Economic Forum is next month here at the Nampa Chamber, so I'm going to stop on that stuff because you're going to hear it all next month, so you guys should be here for the Economic Forum this next month. Quality of life is part of economic opportunity, is quality of life, but that's one of the things that our citizens are saying they want, is quality of life. And so Parks and Pathways actually play a very key role in the quality of life, and our Nampa Parks Department has been hard at work with some exciting things taking place this past year. So we're going to start with the Brandt Playground opening, followed by a splash pad and a beautiful rose garden that was just opened. And you know what, I was there, I tell you, both the playground and the splash pad, there were so many kids you could hardly stand. They were so excited. And I realized we met a need in that area. The Midway Park actually is beginning construction on phase 2 with a splash pad, which you see here, and a fitness area and parking in a multi-use field, and that will be, this next year will be completed. But then, as we speak, Lakeview Park has a new playground that's being built, and that will be done in just a couple of weeks. So, you know, when you think about it, that is a lot, because that's like 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got like 5 new park amenities that have come online and are coming online just within a year, so it's a lot of work. Another area that's important, and it's one of my favorite things to do, is spending time with the future leaders of our community, and that's kids. Whether I'm at a school reading to them or walking with them, this opportunity is when we're planting trees. And they're planted by local local grade school classes, and they do it every single year. So did you know that our forestry department maintains over 7,400 trees in the city? That's a lot. Anyway, so this summer we also opened the next phase of the Stoddard Pathway. How many of you are familiar with the Stoddard Pathway? A few of you are. This is a beautiful pathway connecting North and South Nampa, and it's the old rail that we have acquired, and it's beautiful. We actually named the trailhead, the Loretta Shandorf Trailhead, in recognition of her amazing contribution to Nampa's bike and pedestrian pathways. But the next phase of the Stoddard Pathway is actually being, the construction will start in the spring of this next year, and it's going to go from Sherman Avenue to downtown on 2nd Street. And most of this is funded, again, through grants. So we have a number of pathways in our community, and I want to say thank you to the volunteers that give back and help us maintain. Volunteerism, as you guys know, and you've heard it a little bit today, but it's critical, because for the city to pay employees to do everything gets very, very expensive. So in order to keep our taxes where we want them to be, having volunteers come in is critical. And you know what? We have over 165 volunteers with 19,000 hours of volunteer service. We planted 365 trees this year. And so if you would like to adopt a pathway through our Adopt a Pathway program, please feel free to join us. So, Amy, should I pause? I see just keep going. Okay. So last but not least, on the park side, you know what? We don't want to forget our dogs. And so we have the new dog park that's opening, and it's really going to be a cool park. And so whether you have a dog or don't have a dog, if you love dogs and you just want to go out and get your dog fix and go for a walk, you could go out, because it's going to be really pretty. So that is coming. So, and then as we're quickly kind of bringing this to a wrap, I want to say that we have a beautiful Nampa Library and an amazing team serving our citizens. We have a bookmobile. I don't know how many of you know we have a bookmobile coming. I'm excited. I had a bookmobile when I was a kid, and I just remember going out onto that bookmobile to check out my books. And so we're going to have a new bookmobile for our community that will be roving and reaching those that maybe aren't making it to the library. in addition to that, we have a great collection of materials. We offer audiobooks. There's a parent-teacher collection including homeschool curriculum, resources for children who are hard of hearing and visually impaired, kindergarten readiness materials, and new low vision resources. So, and then To See Kids Succeed actually provided an early learning grant of $71,000 to our library. Thank you for that. That was great. Okay, so we have an anniversary, and I'm sorry you're not seeing these pictures. I'm not sure what happened, but I'll keep going so we're on time. So the Ford Idaho Center is celebrating 25 years this year. Okay, so how many of you were around and remember that when we started it? That's a lot. That's amazing. And then the horse park is celebrating 20 years. So this has been a good year for the Ford Idaho Center, and I want to say I greatly appreciate Andrew Luther, the management team there, because they have accomplished so much, even during the pandemic, staying open, being safe, but keeping the revenues going in so that it wasn't a drain on the city budget. They did an excellent job. So they've booked over 35 shows with an attendance of over 200,000. So country star Morgan Wallen, who was there, I don't know how many people would have been there, but so he set the record for the highest attended amphitheater show ever at over 10,500 people. There was record attendance, record gross ticket sales, record merchandise sales, record food and beverage sales. So anyway, and then we have the best horse park in the Northwest. It is incredible. And so millions of dollars, and this is again out at the Idaho Center, millions of dollars are generated through the horse park because when people come, they stay for 10 days for these horse shows. So they're spending money, they're buying vehicles, they're eating out in our community. So they had 126 event days out of a potential 192, which is amazing. And that again is an all-season high. And then this year, the Snake River Stampede Rodeo set a new attendance record also for its July rodeo, which is pretty cool. The city of Nampa did approve a $1 million RV expansion project in the horse park. And why that's important is because of the economic impact and the shows that we're going to be able to get that are national and regional shows because of that RV park. And so it's going to provide 80 additional RV spaces, and it's anticipated to be completed in the spring of 2023. It's great. I tell you, I love what I see happening there. And then I don't want to forget this Nampa Civic Center that continues to host great events every year. And I just want to say thank you to James and the great work you do and the team here at the Civic Center. And one last thing before we get to my favorite part of the program today, and that is council districts. I don't want to miss sharing this. So while we don't have time, I'm not going to go into detail. The Idaho legislature mandated that cities over 100,000 elect city council members by district. And so the first election impacted by this change is going to be next year in November 2023. So we formed a committee, and it was a committee of 9 community volunteers that worked to identify the districts. And out of 30 options, only one map satisfied all the legal requirements of the state statute. I know Natalie said she spent 8 hours putting the puzzle pieces together, trying everything she could possibly do, and it still came down to this one option. You cannot split precincts. It's just there's a lot of details that you have to abide by to come up with it. So you can scan the QR code on the back of your program to understand more, but a year from now we will be electing our city council members by district, which will bring significant change. You know, as I started this afternoon, we talked about people and making a difference. And you know, when it comes to quality of life, it really is about the people. It's not just about programs and projects. The quality of life is generated by you and our amazing people. And so one thing I wanted to do this year was take a minute and recognize a few people that are setting a standard and making a difference. And so let's get started on that. The first person I would like to recognize is Tao Jepson, and I'm not sure where Tao is sitting. There you go. Hi, Tao. Hi, Director. You know, Tao lives in Nampa, but he actually works at a dealership in Boise as a senior master service technician. He began working on cars in high school and excelled in his career as a service technician. So he is the winner of the 2021 American National Technician Competition, and he is going to be representing our nation at the Subaru's World Technical Competition in Japan in the coming months. That's a pretty big deal. Tao, do you mind standing so we can just see you? Go ahead and stand up there. Thank you. You know, what I loved when I heard this story was that my hope is that your example will set a standard and be an inspiration to young people because of your passion. You pursued excellence in what you do, to be the best, and that's not an easy task, what you've accomplished, but you pursued something you were passionate about that you enjoyed in your career, and you've done it very well. And I just want to say thank you for your excellence. So we need to be watching, and we'll let you know when he goes and how it all goes. So keep us informed. So the other person that I would like to recognize is Cindy Hartley, and I'm not sure where Cindy is. There we go. Cindy's over there. So Cindy is a mother of 2 boys, and she's served on our bicycle and pedestrian committee and an advisory committee. She has a heart for our community, and she has been encouraging us to find ways to make Nampa more ADA accessible. So she recently challenged staff and city council members to access Nampa in a wheelchair. And you know what? It was certainly an eye-opening experience, and one that I hope we can use as we move forward in making future decisions. Cindy has said that when we make improvements for the most vulnerable in our community, it helps all of us. You know, it reminds me of, you know what happens when we walk in someone else's shoes? We see things differently, don't we? And Cindy, you helped us do that by doing the wheelchair challenge, and I just want to say thank you. We applaud you. Many of us in this room know Madi Ramos, and she is certainly part of what I call the dream team with Enrique Rivera and Jose de Leon, and she currently serves as the operations director for the Idaho Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Madi has been an active member of the city's Hispanic Latino Task Force, but is a long-time community champion. She helped start the Nampa School District's Family Resource Rooms, which grew from 1 to 5 schools and is still going strong today. Madi also continues to volunteer on the city's Food Access Subcommittee. She volunteers at the Traveling Food Pantry every month. Madi is an amazing example of the positive impact that one person can make. Madi, could you stand? Thank you. I think about the last number of years that we're at just all different places, and Madi, seeing you there, caring about people, and they're helping them succeed. Thank you. Thank you for that example. And then Juan, I'm going to say your last name right. Vergara. I think I got it. Where's Juan? Where are you? There you are. Okay. So Juan, and I'm going to have you stand in just a minute, but Juan is a code enforcement officer with the city of Nampa, and what he does on a daily basis just for his job is amazing, because it's not an easy job that he gets up to every day. But twice this year, he just demonstrated one of our core values, which is integrity. In the first incident, Juan saw a hunting bow, fall off a truck, and he tried to track the driver down. He couldn't. He wasn't able to catch up to the driver, but he grabbed the bow, put it on social media, and we were able to reunite the bow to its owner because he was willing to take the time to say, hey, I'm going to stop and take care of this. The second was when he was driving down the road and saw paper flying all over the road. He stopped and he saw someone had dropped their wallet, and the paper was actually money, not just dollars, but hundreds, 50s, 20s flying all over the place. So he collected all that he could find along with the wallet, and he was able to return the money and the wallet to the owner, who was extremely grateful. Juan, thank you for exhibiting integrity. And I hope that this story and your life will serve as an inspiration to other community members to walk in that same integrity that you serve in. Could you stand? Thank you. So, something that we talk about with city employees every day is our core values. They are integrity, stewardship, collaboration, and innovation. So intentionality, and this is something that we're talking about, and I just want to encourage our entire community to think about intentionality, right? Because you know how it is where no decision is a decision, right? And things don't just happen. We have to purpose. We have to be intentional about what we do. The other thing that we're talking about is moving from transactional interactions to relational. Because life is more than transactions. So I can stand up here and say, you know, the state of the city, we're doing this stuff. But really, life is about relationships. It's not just about transactions of the work that we have to do. Kent Lovelace is a code enforcement, works in code enforcement and heads up that team, and he made a comment that I loved. And they deal with so many challenging environments. And code is important because I'm hearing from people saying, why aren't you stronger on code, right? And we need to be, but something that he said that I so appreciated was, he said, we can't forget the human side of what we do. And I think that is so important. So today, you know, my goal for the city of Nampa is that we are a safe and healthy community where people prosper, that we're a clean and neighborly city. And we can do, like the city of Nampa, we're going to work diligently. We're going to follow our core values as we provide services to every citizen. We're going to continue to work hard, and we're going to listen to the needs of our citizens. But what makes a community? It's each of you. It's the people. That's why I mentioned the people today, and they're people that many people don't know. But the difference that one makes, you know what? Sometimes it's the smile in the grocery store. It's the humanness side of life, and not always being so transactional. We all, as I look at people here, we all have jobs to do, right? We have to get it done. But there's the human side of life that is so critically important. And so as we close, I think I'd like to say, let's think about Nampa and our future, the one that we leave to our children. You know what? We are more than a city. We're a community. That's what I love about it as I look at the faces across everyone sitting here. We're a community. We're a place, and this is my goal, where we don't just say that we're from, but rather we're somewhere that you all and we can say we're proud to call our home the city of Nampa. We are Nampa. And I am so thankful for this community, for each one of you, for the difference that you're all making. To our business community, I tell you what, you guys step up again and again and again. Thank you, because you're making a big difference. Our nonprofits, our service clubs, all the work that gets done. And the Nampa Chamber, right, as we all come together. So as I said, we're going to be diligent to serve and to ensure that the work gets done in the core infrastructure and all the work and the safety, that you have a great city, that your needs are met. But it really, what makes Nampa great and the state of our city being good is because of you. It's because we together are Nampa. So I appreciate you being here today. And as we close, I'm going to have Alexa come forward. Go ahead. Where's Alexa's going to, there we go. It's like I didn't know where you were. Alexa's going to come forward and she's going to wrap us up. Thank you so much for being here today.
As the mayor said, my name's Alexa Larson, and I'm a senior at Thomas Jefferson Charter School this year, and I serve as the mayor's Teen Council Public Information Officer. Thank you for attending Nampa's State of the City address. Please join me in thanking our sponsors one more time for their support. One person at each table is able to take the pumpkin centerpiece. If you have a Post-it note under your seat, you are the lucky winner.
All right, real quick, before you all leave, once again, thank you so much. Thank you, Alexis, Mitch, the Chamber, and the Mayor, especially City of Nampa. Real quick, besides that, who has a birthday on October 27th? Anybody close to October 27th? I'll give you tickets. Come on up here. I got tickets for you to Tom Petty. Who's got a birthday in April 3rd, close to April 3rd? Over there, hands up. You've got tickets to Led Zeppelin coming up in November. Of course, they're tribute bands, you know, but we've got others to come up. So thank you so much. We appreciate everybody. And thanks again to the mayor and the chamber. And here's Mitch. Where's Wendy? Give me a whistle, Wendy. Okay. Real quick, I just want to close this out. Not only do we have a mayor that's amazing, awesome, she also is fast on her time, which is cool. Speaking of being intentional and relational, we wanted to end early on purpose. The goal was 12:45 so that you can then network before you go back to work. So you have a few minutes of free time to network. I do want to just end by saying the mayor teed this up, the economic forum. I know I saw my friends over here, Drew and Andy Dotson from Edward Jones and Robin from Economic Development, Mike Pena from Colliers. Our economic forum will give you a little teaser about local, Treasure Valley-wide and national, what's going on locally. And then next week, be watching for that too. We're going to push out CWI, our friends at CWI, important election coming up for their trustees, and we're going to hold a forum for that on the 25th, I think it's 7 p.m. So be watching for that. That'll both be online and in person, but that's an important vote for the right leadership there. And with that, again, thank you to James. Mayor, you are appreciated. Your team's appreciated. All the city employees appreciated. Thank you. With that, James will close us out. But yes, Mayor, you are appreciated. I'm not sure where you're hiding, right here. Okay, hey, while you're mingling, take a few minutes to mingle because we have some buses out here that are just loading in or loading out for Music Theater of Idaho, SpongeBob. So it's going to be just a few minutes as they pull away. So give them about 5 minutes, and thank you for adjusting to your parking. Thank you.